Now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ubuku, has called on multinational oil companies to remit their 3% operating cost accruable to the Commission in lump sums rather than in tranches to allow the intervention agency meet the yearnings of largely underdeveloped communities in the region. Dr. Ubuku made the call recently at a meeting organized by the Ministry of Niger Delta Development with international oil companies and stakeholders in AKUGHA.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, whose mandate is to facilitate holistic development and peace in the oil-rich region through the provision of critical social amenities, human capacity development and empowerment, has had to contend with inadequate funding and poor remittance by oil companies in arresting these growing concerns within the region. Speaking recently at a meeting convened by the Ministry of Niger Delta Development with international oil companies and stakeholders, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ubuku, wants IOCs to fulfill their obligations towards the renewal of the region.
You can measure your 3% annually and just pay off your 3% annually for that reason, rather than paying in trickles. Once that money comes in bulk, it is easier to budget that money. If in the process of paying this money and you are telling us that this is what we expect you to do in our areas of operations, we can go into those discussions.
Over 50 years of oil exploration and production activities in Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta region has left in its trail widespread poverty, underdevelopment and security challenges. While all efforts by governments and its partners in the past seems to be inadequate, Dr. Ubuku noted that the Commission has been repositioned to tackle these towering problems through efficient and effective service delivery.
The administration we have on board in NDDC is not willing to mismanage your funds. We can partner together on these funds. How much are you giving to us this year? Let us sit down. This is the project we want to do. We put it in our budget and we do it together.
Participants and representatives of multinational oil companies, while emphasizing the need for clarity in government policies, commit to support all efforts in changing the ugly narrative in the region.
We don't want a situation where under the PIA, communities are doing schools. NDDC comes to do a school beside the school that community is building.
We are seeing a change. Because since Dr. Sam came in, they actually sometimes come to us and say, what can we do? So Dr. Sam, thanks to you and your team, because that's a real big change.
Earlier, the Minister of Niger Delta Development, Engineer Abubakar Momo, also emphasized the need for a joint action by all parties in tackling the economic woes and development needs in the oil-rich region.
We want to see such proposals involving most of these oil companies and the NDDC in form of MOU to utilize such money for the development of such an area.
Other issues discussed at the consultative meeting include the modalities for the inclusion of a representative of international oil companies on the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, as well as the call on oil companies to fast-track actions in constituting host community development trusts and speedy resolutions of all related issues.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Delta State Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori has charged political appointees in his cabinet to put aside their differences and biases in the discharge of their duties for the betterment of the entire state. Governor Oborevwori, who gave the charge last week at the inauguration of 3 new commissioners, called on all political appointees in the state that continue to raise the bar of service delivery in their respective spheres of influence.
The captain of Timor Agenda in Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, recently added 3 lieutenants to the fold to aid in implementing the policies, programs and projects of his administration. The new additions are Ekemejero Ohovoriole, Senior Advocate of Nigeria as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Ifeanyi Osoza as Commissioner for Information, and Prince Kelly Penawo as Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The governor, while speaking at the inauguration of the new commissioner, says the interests of Deltans remains top of his priority. Hence, all political appointees must pursue same.
Must dislocate a massive mandate given to us by the good people of Delta State in sincerity of purpose, empathy with the people, and improved service delivery in discharge of our duties.
For their part, the new commissioners, while appreciating the governor, expressed readiness to key into the policies and programs of the administration.
We will drive the more agenda more effectively with the chairman so that we work as the governor directs.
We will use more effectively the information officers from within the state and around the local governments.
Governor Oboriowori further stated his administration's commitment to strengthening governance processes and accountability systems for optimal performance. The governor said he suspended Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Honorable Omon Pereke Bena, while 3 other high-ranking staff of the ministry are placed on compulsory leave to allow a hit-free investigation into their questionable involvement in the implementation of greenhouse project of the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Speaking to journalists on the matter, Governor Oboriowori says his administration will not shield anyone who abuses laid down rules and processes.
This government is transparent and we believe in accountability and nobody is above the law. So the committee is looking into the issue and by the time they come out with their report, we take our decision.
In another development, some members of Delta State Executive Council have been on the road monitoring the execution of government projects under their respective ministries to ensure speedy delivery and strict compliance with the terms and conditions of the contract. The first port of call was the Delta State International Conference Center, Asaba, comprising a 1,500-seater auditorium and a 1,000 capacity ultra-modern banquet hall, as well as other facilities, by the Commissioner for Special Project, Barrister Funyai Manager and his team. The Commissioner for Works, Rural and Riverine Roads, Charles Anyago, accompanied by the Chief Press Secretary, Festus Ahon, were also at Anyocha North local government area of the state to inspect the ongoing construction of Jolie Avenue Road on Nichugbo. Following on the governor's earlier visit to Ika Northeast local government area to ascertain the level of ongoing work at the site of erosion control channels that run from Owaleru through Owalizomo and Owaofie to link Iyama stream, Commissioner for Works, Highways and Urban Roads, Comrade Ruben Izeze, also visited the site where he urged the contractors to keep the pace of work going. Residents who spoke to our crew at some of the project sites are excited about the ongoing work.
Water they disturb us too much. Now they don't feel and do everything down the time the road okay now.
Government is very good because they used to look eye of things that it have already spoiled and they will bring idea to do it. So God will bless them.
In another development, Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori last week revealed that plans are ongoing for the rehabilitation of Warri Township Stadium as he received in audience members of the National Assembly from Delta State at Government House, Asaba. The governor stated that he will continue to lead an all-inclusive government that is dedicated to the sustainable peace and development of the state.
People have come together as one, not as a party. So we must be one. That's the only way we can advance Delta State.
House of Representative member Honorable Victor Nwokolo, speaking on behalf of the delegation, said they were at the government house to show their solidarity and support for the governor and his administration.
In Delta State, we are one. We stand for unity, and so that other people can learn from Delta. Of course, the governor has set the standard. He has set the pace for other governors to copy. If you look at in terms of empowerment he has done and the landmarks project he has initiated and completing the ones he inherited, it shows you that he's truly called for the service that he's doing.
Governor Boriowori has remained committed to ensuring rapid infrastructure renewal as well as boosting socio-economic prosperity in the oil-rich state, with the completion of all projects inherited from the immediate administration and the initiation of several others in the past months.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doyediri, has restated his administration's resolve to continue with the ongoing road constructions in all 3 senatorial districts of the state, despite growing inflation in the country. Senator Diri gave the assurance during a meeting with key political stakeholders from Southern Niger Council, who were at Creek Haven Government House, Yenagoa, to congratulate the governor on his successful re-election as well as appreciate him for various projects cited in their areas.
Prior to the November 11 gubernatorial elections in Bayelsa State, political observers had highlighted Southern Ijaw as a flashpoint for violence. However, during and after the elections, Southern Ijaw was surprisingly peaceful. Chairman of the Southern Ijaw Political Caucus, Talford Ongolo, appreciated the governor for putting in place deliberate measures to ensure that there was peaceful elections in the state. He therefore felicitated with the governor on his well-deserved victory and commended the impact the governor made in the lives of Southern Ijaw people, especially by prioritizing and completing an all-important road in Southern Ijaw local government area of the state.
To us in Southern Niger, you are a special leader. That I could drive to Angama. That is the kind of indelible impact you have created by courageously prioritizing on the most important projects, the Yenagua Oboroma Road.
In his response, Governor Diri appreciated all the encomiums showered on his government. He noted that it was his administration's resolve that all local government headquarters must be connected by road. He further assured the leaders of Southern Ijaw that his administration will consolidate on the progress his predecessors had made so far by completing major road projects in the state.
I know that all of us were boarding boats from Ayama to Kuruma and then to the rest of our communities. And when I came on board, we now moved it. Now Ayama is no longer the point. The boarding point is now Angama. We are pushing it, and of course the bridge construction is in advanced stage. And we are very sure that in this second tenure, that bridge will be completed at record time.
In another development, Governor Diri, arising from the first Security Council meeting of the year, called on all Bayelsans to complement the effort of security agencies in the state in order to enjoy continued peace. Also, speaking at an interactive session with heads of securities in the state, the Commissioner of Police, Frank Idu, said the governor had given them the go-ahead to deal with armed headsmen who were trying to invade the state.
The governor has given us the go-ahead to ensure that the headsmen are brought to manners and that Bayelsa is a no-grazing zone.
Idu assured all Bayelsans that the state government will protect them wherever they are and issues of insecurity will not be tolerated from any quarters. Meanwhile, Governor Doyediri was recently awarded Governor of the Year 2023 in the Human Capacity Development category by New Telegraph newspaper. Deputy Governor of the state, Lawrence Ewujakpo, received the award on behalf of the governor in a glamorous ceremony held recently in Lagos State. Governor Diri, in a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary Daniel Alabra, said he is honored by the award and promised to change the developmental narrative of Bayelsa State.
Inside the Niger Delta. Ezekiel Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Ezekiel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
In line with his vision of ensuring that all his projects are in good and continuous working condition, the Niger Delta Development Commission says it will revive the Elele alumini rice processing mill, which it built some years ago but sadly ran out of business in 2022. The Commission's Executive Director for Projects, Sir Victor Antai, made this known recently when he took a tour of the abandoned rice mill in River State. He noted that such investment that has the capacity to supply food to the entire Niger Delta cannot be allowed to go to waste.
The Elele Alumini Rice Processing Mill, strategically located in MAMODE local government area of River State, was built by the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC). To alleviate hunger, ensure food sustainability, promote local food production while providing employment opportunities for the Niger Delta people. With the capacity to process 210 metric tons of rice paddies per day, the factory was commissioned for full-scale production in 2020 under the supervision of one of the largest indigenous agro-commodity industries in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the factory soon ran out of business in 2020, 2 years after it was commissioned for use. Consistent with the renewed policy of the current NDDC management to revive projects that have direct bearing on the development and prosperity of the Niger Delta region, the NDDC Director for Projects, Sir Victor Antai, recently visited the facility to have first-hand knowledge about its condition.
We went into a partnership with the Elephant Group. For one reason or the other, they stopped production, and that is why we decided to come and tour the facility, see the reasons why they stopped production.
The once booming rice mill, which generated employment for scores of Niger Deltans, is now a shadow of itself, abandoned and left in the care of security guards. The NDDC Executive Director for Projects, Sir Victor Antai, who expressed regrets over the state of the facility, said the Commission's investments cannot be allowed to go to waste.
In no time, the Managing Director and his management team will take a decision on how best to handle this facility and get it back into action.
It would be recalled that the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, had upon assumption of office in 2023 observed that several abandoned projects littered the region and had pledged his administration's resolve to revive and put such projects into proper use in the best interest of the region. The bid to bring back the Elele Alumini rice mill is in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda that promises food security in Nigeria.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The people of Otogwe community in Isoko North local government area of Delta State have given their seal of approval to the leadership of the community under its current President General, Engineer Wilfred Atuno, for initiating people-centered projects and programs. The people who pledged their support during the commencement of Otogwe Ring Road construction project sponsored by the community called on the state government to complement their efforts by investing in social amenities within the community.
About 2 years ago, when the current leadership of Otogwe Community Development Union in Isoko North local government area of Delta State took over the administration of the union, some of the major projects they hoped to execute in their bid to transform their hometown and improve the living condition of their kinsmen include the electrification and lightening of every corner of the community, as well as road expansion works. With the lightening job put to rest successfully, President General of the Community Development Union, Engineer Wilfred Atuno, led other eminent sons and daughters of the land to flag off the construction of the Otogwe Ring Road project done by the Odiologo of Owe Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Romanus E. Inanna.
In the name of the Father,
Amen,
the Son,
Amen,
and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Engineer Atuno is confident that the project will impact the lives of the people in the community.
The whole community will be linked up in a ring road so that the town can expand. There is nothing that can develop a community modern roads.
Speaking at the ceremony, some eminent sons and daughters of the community hailed Engineer Atuno and his team for the project, which they say will further open up the growing community. They, however, called on government to partner with the leadership of the community for more.
He's doing this beautiful road to ensure that this community we actually develop to the satisfaction of everybody.
Every person, Dick and Harry, is supporting him because he's not using the money to develop himself. He's using the money to develop the town.
I am very, very grateful to have this President General that is opening everywhere in Otowe, taking us from darkness to light.
Meanwhile, the Otowe Community Development Union has called on its sons and daughters at home and abroad to be true ambassadors of the community by exhibiting the cultural values and dedication their ancestors are known for in time past. President General Engineer Atuno gave the charge during the concluded Otowe Cultural Carnival.
When we were young, we were taught the values of hard work. How to work hard to become great in the future, which is against what is happening now. Now people make work without source and nobody questions it.
The Cultural Carnival is an initiative of the Atuno-led Community Union conceived to showcase the beautiful cultural endowments of the Isoko-speaking people of Otowe, as well as provide an avenue for the people to interact with each other. The carnival featured march past by different quarters and branches present, as well as a lecture delivered by Dr. Charles Apoki.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Excitement has continued to trail the crowning of His Royal Majesty Engineer Iberechukwu Orji as the Ezearo of Arochukwu Kingdom in Abia State. His Royal Majesty Engineer Iberechukwu Orji is the grandson of the late monarch of the ancient and respected Igbo Kingdom, Eze Kanu Orji, who was crowned in 1914 and reigned for 73 years. He was recently presented with the staff of office by the Abia State government after his crowning in accordance with the customs and traditions of the land. As the people welcome their vibrant and industrious monarch, they are confident that his reign will herald a new dawn for the kingdom and Umuaro worldwide.
It is indeed a dawn of a new era for the people of the ancient Arochukwu Kingdom in Arochukwu local government area of Abia State, as they celebrate the crowning of a new monarch 3 years after the demise of the last one, Eze Vincent Ogbonnaya Okoro. The kingdom, reportedly founded around 16th century, is one of the few in Nigeria that thrived in the pre-colonial times as well as survived colonial regime with its distinct cultural heritage and rich history somewhat intact today.
So there's nowhere you will go to in those days that you didn't have people coming to Arochukwu. Arochukwu was like going to America now.
In the north, we have Arochukwu everywhere. We have discovered Arochukwu in Gambia and in other places like that. Yes, so we are everywhere.
Aside from standing strong during and after the British hostility of 1901 and 1902, its monarchy has been a reference point all over the country. One of its kings that stood out in recent past is His Royal Majesty Eze Kanu Orji, who was crowned at the age of 14 and administered the affairs of the kingdom for an unprecedented 73 years. Late Eze Kanu Orji received numerous awards, commendations and recognition during his long, peaceful and glorious reign, which includes the Queen Elizabeth II Coronation Medal in 1953, Commander of the British Empire OBE 1956, Commander of the Order of Niger CON, and the Commander of the Order of Federal Republic CFR.
It was purely in his regime that administrative setup was brought to this kingdom.
Oh, please, the man is great. That's why he's on the throne for 73 years.
While it is true that some degree of relevance and respect associated with Arochukwu Kingdom may have declined with the passing of years. There also seemed to be some excitement in town as to the resurgence of the lost glory of Arochukwu with the recent crowning and recognition of a true born of the kingdom and grandson of late Eze Kanu Oji, His Royal Majesty Eberechukwu Oji, as the Ezearo of Arochukwu Kingdom.
Eze Ebere Oji. To have a new Eze, a good leader. He's leading by example. We are kind of people. We are here to welcome him.
I want to celebrate him. I want to appreciate our people for the support.
The leadership of Arochukwu Socio-Cultural Organization, an umbrella body of all Aro sons and daughters worldwide, Nzukwaro, is also confident that the choice of the royal family and the entire kingdom is a worthy one.
His erudition and his broad-mindedness, his education, his contact, and his person, I believe and pray that he will take Aro to the next level.
Ezearo, His Royal Majesty, Engineer Eberechukwu Oji, is the third custodian of the cultures and tradition of the Arochukwu people, translated to mean people of God in the God-owned state of Abia in the past 100 years. He has promised to ensure the enthronement of social justice, peaceful coexistence between the component units of the kingdom, as well as socio-economic prosperity through innovation and development in his reign.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. We'll be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles shown right now on your screen. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria for these stories and many more. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.